So I'm Misbah Ashraf, one of the co-founder of JarApp. I'm born and brought up in Bihar, in a very middle-class family where my dad used to be a teacher and my mom used to be a housewife. Did my undergrads in Delhi, and I've been doing startups since I think age of 17 or 18. The first thing that I did while I was in undergrads to start a t-shirt company while selling t-shirt to colleges and corporates. After second year of my college and out of the college, started a Fintech company called Cibola. The idea was to build a platform where me and you can come and share basically payment to each other. We did it for 6 months. We realized we need a payment gateway license, a payment wallet license, which was basically a lot of uncertainty that time in 2014 that when we will get the payment gateway, payment wallet license. And we shut down that company. After that, I ended up working with a couple of companies in the US. In 2017, I started another company called Misbah. The idea was to build a social commerce platform where me and you can come and share fashion beauty advice. We scaled to 1 million monthly active user base. COVID happened, we couldn't raise our Series A. We had to sell the company. And after that, in 2021, me and Nishchay started building out this company. Me and Nishchay go back like almost 7 years back when he came back to India. Being in the same startup ecosystem, we used to hang out in a couple of events. And when I was building Misbah, at that time, the founder of Bonds, where Nishchay was the founding team member, he invested in my company. And then we used to collaborate in a lot of things like using our influencers to help their brand to grow. So we started hanging out on a couple of projects together. After when I was exiting my last company, we started discussing ideas like what are the things excites him, what are the things excites me, and ultimately one thing that remained common to both of us, that how we grown up as a kid while we were growing in a middle class family, and what is the importance of money that played in our role in our life while I was growing up and he was growing up. I realized that people doesn't know how to manage money. And at least that time, especially during the COVID, when we were seeing like, okay, our friends were not able to manage like even 3 to 6 months run. So we realized that in India, basically there's an opportunity to build something around how people manage money. What is the relationship themselves with the money? So we started doing like some desktop research, started talking to the users on the road for 3 months, realized, okay, there's an opportunity, actual opportunity to build something. And we started building out the product in March 2021. So born and brought up in, as I was telling, like I'm born and brought up in Bihar, right? So when I was 16, the first time my grandpa farm got burnt. And that was the first time my dad took a loan. And taking that loan was not happening from the banks. Even he was a government teacher, he was not able to take a loan from the bank. And he took loan from a local loan provider. And to pay that loan, he took another loan, and that was a never-ending cycle. And ultimately, we started seeing of all these people, since my dad was not able to pay off those loans, people started coming on the phone, right? And started shorting, doing all those things, right? That forced me to actually start making money very early in the career, to start selling game CDs, starting giving tuition, whatever I could do that time. The second incident that happened in my life when I was actually went to Kota for my IIT preparation is that one of my family uncle used to basically sell LIC policies to my family members. And he was the guy who was actually selling the LICs to like 80 to 100 families in my village. And what he did, we kept paying for 3 years and we never asked that uncle basically to get the receipt. And after 3 years, we got a basically letter from the LIC that if you don't pay all this basically premium with the interest, all this whatever you have paid till now will lapse. And we had to pay like ultimately 4 years premium at a time. So dad had to take another loan to pay that. And I had gone and asked my dad that, okay, what is the reason of that? Why we needed a guy to actually pay these premiums? And he realized that we don't understand those big papers, right? The other thing after that happened that when I was going to Kota, my mom given her jewelry as a mortgage. And she signed some random paper to this local jewelry shop. We ended up paying 3x, 4x to get that jewelry back. In all these 3 events, if you think about it, right, the first event was why my dad didn't have access to credit, even he was a government teacher. I remember the first time when I was basically, my dad got a loan from bank. My dad come up with the suites and the home, saying that, okay, finally we don't have to pay like 70% or 80% interest rate. We can pay like 30 to 40% bank interest rate. Why my grandpa didn't have the insurance, right? Why my dad needed a guy to buy any investment product. Why that can't be simplified in the manner which normal people like my dad understand, right? So I thought there are fundamentally three pillars to ultimately build a financial well-being platform, which is access to like stable saving investment option, access to credit so that they don't start touching their savings, and making sure people are insured. Any bad incident happen, and that's the first time in every normal middle class family, they start basically taking loans or start touching their saving, and that's where people start going downfall. Right? Their basically house can burn, their farm can get burned, their shops can get burned, right? They made a road accident, and that's where the big costs start coming in the family, right? So I realized the other thing that if you think about where I come from, right? I feel like, okay, I come from this place called Bihar, where Bihar create highest number of UPSC aspirant. And still, if you think Bihar doesn't create highest number of entrepreneurs, and why that's happened? It happens because most of the people in the world are actually locked in every month pay bills. They're not able to, if they go and take a risk, they won't be able to feed their child, their mom, their siblings, their wife. Right? So how they can even think about taking those risks? The way to let them take, and these are dreamers, right? They are hard-working people. That's why they are able to create the highest, like hardest examination in the world, right? Which is UPSC. They're able to crack that, but they're not able to go and do entrepreneurship. So if we give them freedom enough to go and pursue their dreams, somebody wants to make a movie, somebody wants to go travel the world, somebody wants to start a company, somebody wants to do free education. If we give them enough freedom, the kind of impact these people go in the world and create, like, okay, these people will go and do create 120% of whatever they are doing, right? And even a 1 lakh people can go and pursue their dreams and create some impact in this world. There will be a spiral impact in the society that, okay, you can also go and dream big. You don't have to dream small, right? So can I become, what I say is a bhaiya in everybody's life. There's some bhaiya or some person who can basically go and tell, I'll be there, don't worry. And that could be in form of your friends, family, your mom, your dad, anybody, right? So I want Jar to become that, to make them feel that, okay, I'm there, doesn't matter, you can go and pursue your dreams. And if that happens, that will be the highest happiness or bliss that could happen to me. You can't capture whole India market with the same strategy. You need to go very local with a small basically things that you are doing, right? I will give you an example, right? Example is basically some of the things that we did, right? Is, for example, if you open any app today, right? And you try to select the language, let's say Tamil, Malayalam, any language, right? Everybody will click on that Tamil or whatever, but just by doing a single change that, okay, let's say the users is coming from Tamil Nadu or some coming from Malayalam, the first language, if you show them Tamil, or if that guy is from Malayalam, if you show them Malayalam, right, they feel this app is giving importance to me, right? So understanding these small nuances, right? The other example that we could take about is okay, when we studied the market, we realized that in India, people don't think basically gold as a investment asset class where they want to keep going. For most of the people, money is a tool to buy peace of mind, right? And that's why they think about gold ownership in the forms of basically grams or tolas, not things in the terms of value, right? Nobody will come and tell, okay, I have 5 crore rupees of gold, right? Or I have 5 crore worth of land. Most of the people will not say that, right? So how do you get these nuances from the users, right? By talking to them every day, right? And putting them back to the product. So we do a lot of user research from the early days of the Jar. When we started, me and Niche number used to be our customer support number, right? We spend a lot of time to making sure to just talking to them, right? I spent a lot of time in early days to just study multiple WhatsApp groups, listening voice message on a Telegram group, just to understand the language on which they are talking. And we keep talking to the users, me and Niche keep talking, and the whole team, we try to make sure that in the culture in the company, to make sure that we keep talking to the users, right? And making sure the insights coming back to the product. Of course, you have to look into data and then listen to the users and putting back to the product. You can't be building the products in isolation when you're justly building for the mass simply. You have to be there, you have to keep listening them and making sure you're putting back in the product. Like this insight that I was talking about, okay, that users are coming from Malayalam and Tamil. The normal, any apps would have just made sure, okay, there's a list of language and nobody have thought about just putting back Tamil as the first language. Right? So these insights come from thinking very deeper about it, and that's what we are doing in the, let's say, we are doing a content strategy where we are basically trying to create a lot of content, and we are just not putting the content in one language. We are putting right now in 4 or 5 languages. We want to keep increasing that, so that we understand in what language we are interacting with the user, how they are interacting with the mission. Because when you talk to people in their local language, the way they interact in their common language, right, they're able to express it better. So I think understanding users at a deep level is the most important thing that we do as a company, which helps us basically go to the different markets pretty well. We won't say that we have done like the best job yet. We have to do a lot of work, improvement. Like we have to go more deeper to the smaller city. I want to make sure that my maid in my Bihar hometown is able to use the app. She's still not using. Like I want to make sure that she start using. Of course, my mates in Bangalore, other people that we see in the Bangalore as other cities that we are using, but I want to make sure she start using. To do that, we need to do a lot of language work. And when I say language work, it doesn't mean just converting that into local language. It means that using those small words how they interact. Even in Bihar, they're like if we go to Bihar from where I am and we go to Patna and the Gaya of the world, right? Everywhere, like people are talking different small words. How do you use them in every part of the product? Be it notification, be it the way you acquire users, be it the way you do emails, the WhatsApp notification, or the messages everywhere. It's all about that staying in the game with the same energy for the enough time to make sure you can win any game. So most of the people actually go through this like this. They stay in the game, but like for example, a company which is not having momentum, they go like this, right? And it's too hard to go back. So even they are spending time for 7 to 10 years building any organization, but the momentum has gone down, then it's too hard to come back and win that game. So you have to make sure the momentum is on. So it means that you have same energy as you're doing. So I will just say that you have to make sure that you end the game with the same kind of energy for the long run.